Now I will start streaming, and it is working, I believe. It says I am offline, but let me refresh on the page. And I'm online, but now everyone can see my Discord, so I'm gonna hide that. Enter. Send now.
Okay, we're online. There we go. Okay, I can see you.
Woo! Woo! So I'm gonna use this time just to like let people waddle in, cause yeah, got it.
Alright. Wait, hang on. Let me turn the volume on.
And I'm gonna open a whole bunch of tabs.
So we sound like we're a little bit quiet on this stream.
That, I can fix that.
Oh, that might just be me. Wait, hang on. Oh, yeah. So you sound fine.
Okay. Here,
Oh, and we froze.
there. Now you should sound a little louder.
Okay.
There we go. Alright.
Alright, yeah, sounds good. The stream delay is really fucking with my brain.
Wow, lots of... I guess this is just gonna be me scrolling through my millions of tabs that I have open. Because that's what I'm the best at, is having a bajillion tabs.
Huh? You cut out a bit.
Oh, sorry. That's because I'm opening a million tabs on Google.
Yeah.
Let me close out some things.
Okay. Woo, there we go. I can see everything online.
I can see clearly. I gotta open that up because it's my favorite picture. Sorry, you're cutting out.
Damn! Yeah.
I love computers. So, I see we have a few viewers in there. Sorry for the late start. Like I said, this is a, what did I say? A test stream. This is just me relearning how to use Twitch because it's been exactly a year since I've used Twitch. So right now I'm just opening up a million tabs because that's just who I am as a person, and to show you guys some examples of character design, some things that you might want to look for. Yeah, this is kind of a really informal stream. I'm just going to be going over like getting started, some tips I have. Like I said, I'm like so not used to Twitch anymore, so I might be a little out of the groove. But I'm going to be trying my best right now. So thank you for your patience. Oh, and again, if you have any questions, the Twitch chat is open, as well as the stream and crit questions channel on Discord. Feel free to ask me questions at any time.
Do we have any... We have no questions in the channel right now.
We have no questions, so I'm going to start off with what I like to do first in terms of character design. So, as you can see on my screen right now is my favorite picture.
Oh, I'm still kind of quiet. All right.
It's still quiet.
Let me. Ignore me. I'm gonna be in the background. Listen to Avery.
All right. So maybe that's better. Oh, if it's something in Twitch, then I don't know how to fix it.
No, I'm gonna turn up my gain.
Alright. Because, yeah, okay. I've turned you up again on, yeah. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. This is my favorite picture. It's just so silly. It's those like Chinese lions, and the reason this is relevant is because the first thing you want to do when you're designing characters is research. If I hadn't found this particular drawing, then I would not have had the idea for, or this particular picture, then I wouldn't have had the idea for one of my characters in my character design class this semester. So you can get some really fun and cool ideas with research, and I'm just gonna pull up, this is my past party banter. Open that, and you can see here, so some people suggested using Pinterest. I'm, as you can tell, not super technologically savvy, so I just like to save the pictures onto my own computer. And then that's all. That's, for me, that's better because if I'm ever without internet, I still have access to the pictures. So you can go wild and crazy with searching for inspiration.
Oh, this is some excellent reference.
Yeah, so this is, I split them all up into, like, categories, but I didn't really research them in any particular order. Let's look at Pitar's. Where is this? No. Alright. Well.
Was this your character from last year?
Yeah, this is my character from last year.
All right.
So here he is. So this is his finished design. Let me pull that over there. And so certain things that I was looking for was he is a goblin, he is a witch or warlock. His favorite sin is wrath, values temperance. He has no style, he has no grace, he owns a magical article of clothing, and he is fashionable. And our genre... Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, can I exit? Okay, thanks. Our genre was Western, and we decided to kind of try to design for a children's book. So yeah, let me see if... Do I not have my... Wow. Okay. Dang.
Wow, what?
I don't have my thumbnails on here, which is crazy and wild.
Well, shit. Wait, hang on. Let me send you some similar thumbnails to show up.
Yeah, but like I was saying, the thing that I like to do first is research, and sometimes research can look like finding artists that you like. So like this artist that I like, she draws a lot of goblins, and they don't always look like traditional D&D goblins, and that's kind of why I like her art, because it's like something different, something new, something that maybe I hadn't thought of before. Like, these are her goblins that I really liked.
Nice.
And yeah, and that's another thing, since we're going kind of stream of consciousness right here, is that like when you're thinking about the race that your character or even what your monster is, think of the first thing that comes to mind, and then try to like look at things outside of that. So like if you Google D&D goblin, a certain idea of a goblin shows up, and that might be what you want to go for. Or you can try to find weird ones like these ones, yeah, that might be a little different than what most people would think of when it comes to goblins.
Yeah, just because you've got like a specific idea of what the trope is in your head, doesn't mean that's what you have to go for. And in fact, usually you shouldn't go with that one.
Yeah.
It's too basic.
Yeah. Or even like...
basic.
Yeah. Or even like a general design tip that I always hear is like, as soon as you get your description of your character, draw what you think they look like, and then put that aside. And
Yeah.
some people say throw it in the trash because you're never going to draw that again. I say put it aside because maybe you had some good first impressions, first instincts, and there's a reason that you thought those things on your first instinct. So it's good to reference back to think like what is classic goblin, what is classic witch, so I can keep that in mind. But also it's good to remind yourself, okay, I'm going to try to go for something more than this.
Yeah. When we get our first character design assignment in Stacy's class, the first thing she has us do is just a bunch of character sketches. Like, just no silhouettes, no thumbnails, no, like, thinking beforehand. Just, like, dump out whatever comes to your mind first. And there might be some really good ideas. There might not be. But the important thing is that you use that to get yourself started. And then continuing on just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and that's something that I think is kind of not really talked about much, even in our like program, is like a lot of times your first pass, even in this, the crit one is thumbnails, but starting with thumbnails and silhouettes might not be the best idea, I guess.
Yeah.
Like for me, I find it incredibly unhelpful to start with silhouettes because at that point, like I don't know how to get out of like just doing one silhouette over and over because I don't know what I'm trying to think.
Doodle, basically.
Yeah.
And doodle weird shit.
Yeah. So, like, try to find artists you like. Try to find some interesting things. So, like, I got really into some interesting, like, Mexican brujeras stuff. And I looked that up, and I found like a Vice documentary on it, and a little piñata. But I found some really cool stuff out of looking at that, and that wouldn't have happened if I just thought, okay, witch, I'm gonna do classic witch with the pointy hat and a wand. And that's another important thing that is going to be a constant throughout this challenge, throughout like life and designing characters in general, is try to look outside of your known, try to look outside of your own culture, look outside of things that you already know, because the worst that'll happen is you'll learn something new.
Yeah, and like drawing from life is way more important than we really give it credit for. And not just for like getting photo reference. Like obviously you should paint from life. But like, and I don't mean draw from life as in actually
like go outside and draw from life, yeah.
Do that. Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
But like draw your ideas from life. Like bring weird little anecdotes that you heard, things you learned in a documentary to the designs that you're making, because it's going to make them so much more interesting.
And more authentic. And that's something that you'll hear Owen say a lot.
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sure that some of them have already heard it. A lot of them had Owen for 113B.
Oh, yeah.
113A. Whatever it's called now.
But if you haven't had Owen, or you don't know who he is, he will be one of the professors critting us this party banter. And that's like a crit that he says over and over and over again, so I'm telling you beforehand, you're going to get the authenticity crit where like get your ideas from real life things so that they feel like real life. It may feel like cheating, it may feel like copying, but like trust me, it's not, because you don't live in a vacuum, you can't design in a vacuum, so don't keep your like ideas in one like little pool of what you already know. I found this crazy marigold hats, which I was like, wow, that's cool. I didn't end up using it, but it was cool. But yeah, I found some really cool things in like the life side of it. And then animals is another thing, especially if you're doing monsters. Look at real life animals because they can get wacky. So I got some peccaries in here with their weird, creepy teeth. A coyote who got stuck in the grill of a car. He's not dead. Don't worry, that's not his blood. He's still alive. And yeah, I just thought it was so funny. And I thought maybe I could use that for my character.
Look at that boy.
And I did end up using some of this for my character.
Yeah. And the like weird inspiration that you find from random places, you might end up actually using it for photo reference. Like,
yeah. Stay connected. I feel like a lot, like, and as you're gonna see soon when I pull up all my Twitter things, I find a lot of reference by accident on Twitter.
yeah.
So I got some weird cats. Bats are really fun to look at. So even if you're not specifically designing a bat, there's like a website, if you just look up like bat portraits, that has 1 million photos of bats, and they're so wacky and weird. They got like weird little noses and tongues, and opossums are great. I heard like you'll get some weird things like the Chinese crested dog, where you're like, I would not have thought a dog could look like this, but it does. Like Sphinx cats or weird looking little kittens. I don't know, you can get some really weird looking animals, so don't knock real life reference as being boring.
Yeah.
Because some of these are really strange.
Uh-huh. And like this is just one step removed from like the really weird kind of photo bash stuff that a lot of professional industry artists do. And like people knock photo bashing, but it's really just one more method to get where you're going when it comes to like, making really good illustrations. So like one of our alumni, Colin Fix, who's just excellent. He designed like, for instance, the White Walker polar bear in Game of Thrones. He has this whole talk about like using weird photos you find as random parts of your painting and then just shaping them into some awesome looking Star Wars alien. Like, it's a really just one more way of moving pixels around, which is all we're doing.
Yeah. Like, and like I said, in the information meeting, I think, it doesn't matter, especially in these beginning bits, it doesn't matter what media you use. So photo bashing is still a media you can use, as well as like charcoal on paper, chalk on your sidewalk, finger painting. I love finger painting. I like using, especially in these beginning bits, a thick, chunky like pen or pencil, and just like scratching away at paper, trying not to get too like detailed and fancy, just so I can get.
Brush.
Yeah, ooh, yeah, those are fun.
Losing control.
Cause yeah, I like art in that the less control you have, the more interesting things you create.
Yeah. Ooh, hey, which is the Kenku character? I just found an awesome piece that I'm gonna send you to put up on the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, someone in the chat says that all these animals are goblins, and that's precisely why I chose them, because my character was a goblin, and all of these like very different ways of expressing how a goblin could look.
If you see hairless cat and you think goblin, then that's a goblin.
Yeah, yeah.
They're definitely goblins. Have you seen them?
Yeah. Or even like goblin as like a state of being rather than how you look.
Yeah. It's a state of mind.
But yeah, and then sometimes you can get, so like here's an example of random Twitter reference I found, which I thought was really interesting. This is some manuscripts for medieval like magic. And I wouldn't have found this if I was just looking for it. So sometimes like the best reference comes out of just nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my advocacy of using social media and staying connected and wasting your time on your phone.
Yeah, this is the proper way to procrastinate. Is you go out and look for reference. Even just take a walk, bring your phone with you and take pictures. Like.
or going to museums, which I am always an advocate for. I love museums. Here's another like random piece of reference I found: a Sardinian winter carnival, which like I wouldn't have thought of that on my own. That's so weird. It's so cool. Who thought of that? Not me. Let's see, what else do I have?
This is some pathologic shit.
Oh, that's a cute Kenku. Alright, where else? I have some other, like, unusual places of inspiration. Here's another. So one thing that I think us as artists don't do enough of is look at actual physical costumes. Please. This is just some, like, advertisement for some website. But I saw that dress and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So I saved it on my Twitter.
Everyone go on Pinterest and look up Alexander McQueen. And look at the crazy shapes he makes out of fabric.
Yeah. Like, or even, like, if you want to look at more casual styles, Lookbook is a good place to go. It's got just people on the street wearing their clothes. But it's more than just, like, the generic jeans and t-shirt. It's, like, some really fun things, some really fun shapes and colors that you wouldn't have necessarily thought of. And in that line, fashion's a good reference as well as makeup. So this is from the cover of Vogue, Arabia, which, like, they're so cool. They're so neat. And just because you're not, like, necessarily into fashion or into makeup doesn't mean you shouldn't look. That came out really weird. Even if you're not into it personally, you should still look at these places, look at other, like, kinds of art as as inspiration, because they can have some really interesting ideas that you might not be seeing elsewhere. Like that weird thing with her hair, that's so cool. Who'd have thought of that? Who'd have thunk?
Oh, God, yeah.
Ooh, here's another, random reference. This is more for the Monster team, but MRI scans. Who'd have thought to use MRI scans as Monster reference? But here we go. They're so weird. But yeah, that's something that, like, I love research. I could get into, like, a research hole where I'm researching forever. If you don't stop me, then I will just be on my computer researching until 4 in the morning, and then you'll find me passed out on my laptop the next day.
Yeah. The thing about research is that it's just fun because you're just, like, gathering stuff. You don't have anything to worry about yet. You're not, like, anxious about it being good. Like, it's that beginning phase of the artwork where it's always, like, you're super excited about it.
And it's like
nothing can go wrong in your head.
Yeah, and it's like absorbing as much things as you can, so that, like, hopefully when you start spitting out things onto your paper, at least some of what you've absorbed will show up there.
Yeah. And you don't need to feel bad if it doesn't, or if you think it doesn't, because some of it probably
even unconsciously, some of it will be there.
Yeah.
Absorb information. Learn.
Which this is an important part as people are starting out. Like, you're gonna do all this research, and then eventually you're going to start working. And it's some people have the phase happen at different times than others, but it always happens to everyone. Eventually you'll reach a point where you just don't want to work anymore because it's not coming out how you want it to. It's like just nothing is working, and you need to power through that because, like, you remember all the research you did, remember all of the thought that you put into this, and just because it doesn't feel exactly like you expected it to feel doesn't mean it's not good art.
Yeah. Absolutely. And sometimes sometimes it's also just good to, if it's not coming out the way you want, take a break. Maybe do more research. Maybe play a video game, because video games count as research in my eyes. So read a book, that also counts as research. Go somewhere.
Do whatever's fun.
Go to a coffee shop and enjoy a nice latte. Just do anything, because you'll still be absorbing more and more information. So that still counts as doing work in my eyes. And when you come back to your art, maybe it'll be better. Maybe you'll like it more. Maybe you'll see what was going wrong and have ideas of how to fix it. Or maybe just like refreshing your brain will let you continue working and continue shooting out more and more things, whether you like them or not. Just more things.
Yeah. So do we want to show some examples of like what we kind of want for the first script?
Yeah. So let me find some, because I didn't have time to like to grab them, because I was so.
That stuff I threw your way was mostly like finished pieces.
Yeah.
On my own. Well, I know that Sergei Kolosov did some just excellent silhouettes. At least I think that's what Kolosov.
Here's one. This is. Oh, why did you do that? So this is actually for my tip stream for a little later than now. But here's some examples of like just ideations. And that's what we're doing. Our first crit is ideations. So there's just like, these are a little bit too detailed, I think, for right now, but it kind of gets the idea across of just like different shapes, different things, different ways of doing things, different poses. These over here are Midna from the Hyrule Historia art book, and they're so different, they're so weird, and even still you can see where the final design came out of all of these.
Yeah. There, I sent you some of Kolosov's silhouettes.
Awesome.
Let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, here's some more.
So
these are all from Dishonored 2, the best designed game in the past decade.
So here's a good example of kind of what we're looking for. And even the page setup is really nice. Just number your drawings so that when you're getting crit, they'll know what to point to.
Or letter.
Yeah.
Or in some way.
Or name them. Like, this is Henry, this is Michael, this is Larry. just so that when it comes to critting, it'll be easier to be able to tell. And I will reiterate that before our first turn-in date.
Yeah. What about the ideations from Skillful Huntsman?
Oh, okay, so here's ones that Jack just sent to me. And again, it's just like, think about silhouettes. This is still a little bit more detailed than I think that you guys have to go for, but the idea, again, is still there. Silhouettes, shapes, different things, different ways of thinking. I think this one's also like a really good one in that like they're all super different.
Yeah. Make sure that when you're ideating, especially the final ideation page that you send, no two are like indistinguishable. If you give like Owen and Jeff two silhouettes back to back, and like one is basically the same as the other with like longer legs, they won't be nice to you.
Or like one has a baseball hat.
Why are you wasting the space on your page?
Yeah.
I just sent some of the Skillful Huntsman stuff that I just pulled offline.
Let me open that.
I don't have the time to scan the book that I have.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So
if any of you are ever taking Cameron's 112A, or I don't know what it's called now, he will show you this book, and it's like just an excellent book on character design.
Yeah, so again, like they're all like super different. They're all very small. and very not detailed, which is what I like about these. And this is kind of exactly what we're going for. And you don't even have to do like the little, like some of these are like kind of detailed. You don't even have to do that. You can just black it all out and only focus on the silhouette. Personally, I find silhouette kind of hard to work with. My brain just doesn't work that way. So I would probably aim for something like this. But I know some people work really well with silhouette and like thinking about it in terms of the outline.
Yeah. If you don't know how to silhouette, just take like, okay, so if you're working digitally and you don't know how to silhouette, just like take your hard round brush, no opacity, just map pressure to size, and just scribble, like scribble.
Yeah.
Just, like, make little things pointing out to it. Maybe we should do a demo on this at some point.
Yeah, I have Photoshop open right now, so I'll do that in a bit.
Yeah. And then just like, and do like 100 of them. Do like every 20 seconds, start on a new one. And what you should be doing right now is thinking a lot and making a lot of them, but making the quality very, very low.
Yeah.
So, but the important thing is that thought. Like, while you're scribbling, be like, okay, maybe this thing that's jutting out here is a sword, or maybe it's an eyebrow. Like, it could be anything. Just think about what it could be and, like, map those into your brain so you know where to go from there.
Yeah. And, oh dang, I totally lost what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, ideally, you would have way more than this. You would have so many thumbnails that you don't even know what to do with them. And we're not going to crit all of them. We're not going to look at all of them because you should have so many that the idea of looking at all of them would just be like a monumentous task. But
you should come out with hundreds and then show us your like best 30.
Yeah, and that's why you want to kind of aim for this like low quality, really like scribbly, very little detail, so that you can get as many as you can in as little time as you can.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I might have another example of thumbnails in here somewhere. Ooh, but I might not. Yeah, no, I don't. Okay, I thought I did. I don't. So, I will do a little demo of how to do that thumbnail thing. But, real quick, I just wanted to do, like, a lightning round of character designs I like and some that Jack likes.
What?
Just inspiration. Just get our minds thinking. And that's a good thing to do, is look at character designs you like, because there's a reason you like them.
Oh, I'm gonna send you another one.
Alright, so this I thought was really cool and really cute, and very party banter-esque. A little animal, or a little monster design that's like a rug monster that disguises itself as a rug. I thought that was like such a cute idea.
I like it.
It's cute. I like it. Let's do this one, which is someone's D&D character, which again, very party banter-esque. It's like wooden living armor with a sun spider, and like those two ideas are just so cool, and combined they lead to like some really interesting things. Yeah.
Reminds me of Solaire with the bug on his head.
Yeah. So yeah, like think outside the box. Think of weird things. Here's a little lineup of some characters, and this is another good example of like when you're working with your team, you want them in a lineup and you want them all to look like they belong in the same world together. So obviously these are all drawn by the same person, so that is one thing that makes them look unified.
Jake Wyatt?
Huh?
No, it's not Jake Wyatt, but it looks like Jake Wyatt.
No, this is Sarah Agali. I cannot pronounce her last name. Al-Fagi. Yeah, it does look like Jake Wyatt. But yeah, this is some of her characters. But yeah, like, other than just, like, straight style, there's things like their clothes. Their clothes all have, like, a similar, like, little, like, neck motif. thing, and they all have like some sort of wrap around their hips or waist.
Yeah, and you can see the color palettes for all of them aren't the same, but they're very similar, and you
Yeah,
feel like they could be in the same world together.
yeah.
Not just could be, they are in the same world together.
hmm
Yeah.
And then here's another one that I really like. I think I used this as example last year too. um, but this one's like another really cool one. This is also very D&D, but they all live in the same world. They're all super different character designs too. Um, like they're all so different, but they all look like they live together in the same world, in the same like kind of concept. Um, I just really like these designs. They're really cool. There's about like, and even like I said, like looking at reference that you don't even like. It's just so out there that you're like, how would I even use this? Like this, her skirt is like a gate, a cast iron gate. So that's like a really cool thing. Or like, where was it?
How did she come up with that? She
Yeah.
probably saw a really cool gate when she was taking a
Oh
walk
yeah.
for inspiration.
Or like the necromancer has like the like skulls like in the catacombs of France. France? Is it France? um, and he has some of those like cool like satanic symbols and stuff. Or even the Dire Knights like clothes kind of reminds me of a band uniform, but it works. And you can see that, like, again, bringing it back to silhouette, these characters all have very distinct silhouettes, very interesting silhouettes. You can tell what they are doing even if you just like blacked out their whole body.
Yeah. And should we go over big, medium, small, or should we leave that for the next one?
I think I have that in the next one, but I'll also go over that when I'm doing the like thumbnail thing because I think that one's best.
Yeah, best addressed when you're doing silhouettes.
Yeah, and one that I don't know. I have trouble like explaining it and understanding it through like just saying it. So I think an example would be good. So here's one that Jack sent, and this. What is this from a game?
Hang on, I'm on the stream delay with the rest of them because that's the only way I can
Oh,
see your
okay.
screen.
Sorry.
Let me let it pop up. Yeah. So this is from Greedfall. It's a game that Tom Austin recommended to me. But the designs are just really clean. They're like this is what you're trying to go for when you're in the industry. Is like the really clean design. You can tell exactly what everything is. So then the people further down the pipeline can really start to address how to how to proceed with um, with what you've designed. Now, this is like really high level stuff. You don't have to go this realistic. You don't have to go this like well rendered. But try and aim for it.
Yeah.
Like there's no shame in trying to aim high,
Yeah.
and missing. Like wait, put up the there are a couple more that I posted that are kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
But go all the way down on our Discord and put up the Dark Legend of Mad King Arthur one. Um,
Yes.
that one's gonna be like super different. Oh yeah, and so this guy's also including props and stuff
Yeah.
for
And that's still something that you guys have to think about. If your characters have weapons, if they have props, those have to be designed too.
and the guys the cool thing about props. They are so much easier than characters and environments. They're like dead simple compared to the rest. You've all probably been doing still lifes a lot at this point. Painting a prop is just like painting a still life. Like you gotta think a little bit more and design a little bit more. But like okay, so I really love this guy's submission for the ArtStation character design challenge. Because they're just so different than anything you think of when you think of the Legend of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. Um, ArtStation does these periodic design challenges where they just put out this broad call to anyone interested to submit character designs in a professional capacity, and the results are always so good.
Yeah.
So like, the King Arthur was the latest one, but there have been others in the past. But these really stood out to me for just how creative they were, like just how different and how much they stood out from the crowd. The winner, though, I also posted the winner to you, was Pedro Kruger Garcia, and his are actually pretty standard, but he just does it so well that it makes up for it.
Yeah.
But, like, look at that. Look at his big monster thing.
I love that crazy monster.
Oh my god, it's like Eldritch Abomination.
It is like nothing I would ever think of.
Yeah.
But I can
Especially
still.
not when you think of King Arthur.
Yeah, but like I can still see like inspiration where I can see where he got those things.
Yeah.
It's just how he put them together is like wow.
Yeah, you're just like, wow, blown away. Super cool. Nothing like I've ever seen. And that's what we want. Like, basically, you're doing the random rolls for Party Banter. It makes it really easy to come up with really cool, creative, original ideas.
Yeah.
And now you've got no excuse to just be like the most creative. Go all out. Oh yeah. So these are Garcias, and they are mostly just really, really well painted. Once again, nothing wrong with aiming high. If you want to just try and design something really well and then paint it really well, then like fucking go for it. Like that's what I like. Um, you can tell there's been a ton of research in these. There's a ton of like attention to detail and attention to how this character dresses and then how they act and how they think, and it's all in their design.
Yeah.
Like how they move. You can tell how each character moves just by looking at their posture. Um, so like he designs like 6 characters. You only have to design one. So it's not actually a big deal to put that much attention to detail and that much thought into it. I'm sorry, 7 characters. Uh, but what is a lot, what is just like a ton of work, is actually getting that on the paper. And no one is blaming you if you can't do that yet. No
Yeah.
one in the program can do it yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough stuff. But you just try your best. See if you can make it.
Yeah, and in regards to these character designs, what I like about them, like you said, they're very well researched, and they look real, but they also look unique. They don't look
Yeah.
like just historical recreations. They look like their own thing, and that's something that I'm not saying it's easy because I definitely still have trouble with this, and I think everyone does. Is that kind of merger of like artistic creativity and um, authenticity.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's really easy to be like well researched and well studied and just paint from Renaissance fairs, but that's not. Design is going the step further
Yeah.
to really make it work on the paper.
Yeah. And that's why what we're doing is not something that everyone can do.
Yeah, that's why we're in school for 5 years.
hmm Here's another one. Here's the character lineup for it. Oop, that totally messed up. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Is it? Is it? Is it? Am I too far up? Am I too far down? I can't tell.
Wait, hang on.
Here it is. It's for the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, Celine Kim. Celine Kim is just a really awesome viz dev for film lady. Um, all the way down is her Phantom of the Opera characters.
Yeah.
She goes a lot more stylized, a lot more cartoony with it. Like she's viz dev for DreamWorks right now. She just came out working on Abominable. But yeah, like it's these characters, you can. There's just so much personality in them.
Yeah, and also like in regards to style, because I think I always get these questions, and I think it's important to address. these ones, these crazy ones. Oh wait, these ones, the Greedfall ones. That's what I was looking for. So see how just like crazy detailed, crazy like in depth that is. You can tell what everything is. You can still tell what everything is in Celine Kim's Phantom of the Opera ones.
Yeah.
Like it does level of detail, level of render polish isn't necessarily what you're thinking of. It's representing that like quality, texture, like what things are, what things do through your art. And again, it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but that's why we're doing this. That's why we're learning.
Yeah. When you're focusing on your style, what you're really doing is trying to figure out, like, what is the most comfortable way for you to draw and paint, and trying to paint and just gonna make that harder.
Mm-hmm.
So like try, like the key to developing your own style is like as hard as it sounds. Try not to think about it while you're
Yeah.
drawing and painting. You just need to do it, and then eventually it'll come out, and it'll
And
inevitably be like a result of all the people you looked at along the way.
yeah, and even still, like Dave Yee says this, and I definitely and am a proponent of this, is that you don't necessarily have to have a single style. Um, you can have a bunch of different ways that you find easy or comfortable or fun to draw in, and you can switch through them like as much as you
Yeah,
want. It's so fun. It's so
yeah.
easy. You can do whatever you want, guys. You can draw, bro. Drawing's like magic. Oh, here's
Uh,
the shrimp
in some
dude.
of the later classes, you're really gonna be forced to experiment.
Yeah.
To do uh, stylistic exploration after we've done our character lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, here let me grab some of those and send them to you so you can put them up just as
Yeah.
examples,
Yeah. But yeah.
so that you can see kind of what later classes did. One moment, I think they're on my external drive over there.
But yeah. As for style, especially with this challenge, and I guess for life, um, don't stress about it. As long as we can tell what things are supposed to be, then your drawing is a success. Okay. So it looks like I'm getting to the end. Oh, here's that cute little Kenku dude. Little crow man. How cute.
Let me see.
And then I think that's it for all the things that I had prepared. So um, I'll wait for you to get your like
Yeah.
things.
So like I'm throwing up Aaron Cobb's stuff from a couple years ago in 117C. He did his regular character lineup and then his stylized character lineup,
Okay.
and he really had to like explore stuff. Let me see. Oh,
Um,
Dana's here.
and then
Dana.
while you're looking for that, Codebreaker asks, "What if you had to have a hard start?" Ugh, I can't read. So pretty much, what if you have a hard time trying to put your thoughts on paper or digital paper? Do you have any tips to
Ah,
break that barrier? And
I think Codebreaker showed up late because we already talked about this.
yeah, so it's
Basically.
go
Oh yeah,
wild,
go
go
on.
crazy. Get the thickest pen you have and just scribble. Um, and sometimes you'll get some cool design out of that. Sometimes it'll just be a scribble, but at least you've started. At least you've because like I know for me, there's like a it almost feels like a physical barrier between me and starting. And once I just like break through that barrier, once I just like knock down that wall, even if what I have started is a scribble on a piece of paper, I've started, and I can keep going from there. Um,
Yeah.
so I hope
Basically
that
just
helps.
basically just doodle. Like I said before, in Stacy's class when we get our character design assignment, she makes us do a bunch of character exploration sketches, just like really quick, I think she asked for 10 pages of exploration sketches. Just whatever our thoughts are, get them out on paper, and then we use those. We travel from those to starting the thumbnail and silhouette and design.
Yeah, and even in regards to like party banter specifically, you can take it like trait by trait. So like, okay, gluttony. What does gluttony look like? Draw gluttony. What does a goblin look like? Draw a goblin. What does a sorcerer look like? Draw a sorcerer. Like you can take it step by step at first. And then here is the Aaron Cobb's things. So,
and I'm posting. Dana's wouldn't fit in Discord, but I'm posting her ArtStation post.
Okay.
So her character lineup and then her stylist character lineup.
I'm sorry.
There's some of the like just really excellent biz dev students we graduated last year. So basically, like some of the later classes, they'll ask you to really explore stylism in new, interesting ways.
Yeah. So like here on Aaron Cobb's, you can see that this first one is kind of like the one I showed you. The what was it called? Greedfall ones. They're very like realistic. They're very like detailed, painterly. And then you go to the stylized ones, and they're whack. You can still tell they're the same characters though. But like their proportions are completely like pushed to death. Their colors are crazy, but they still stand on their own as good character designs, and they're still the same characters. So like the style that you draw in doesn't matter too much.
Oh shit! There's actually more on his ArtStation. Let me clear that up there. Yeah. So more stylism. He did a stylized version of Argo because his character lineup he was drawing from was Jason and the Argonauts. He was doing Jason and the Argonauts as Civil War Union soldiers.
Yeah, so here's the Dana Geiger's very detailed, very realistic, like little tiny details in their clothes and stuff, and then you go to the stylized one. It's whack. Like you imagine this is a totally different like form of media, a totally different like feel, but they're still the same characters. They still kind of have the same feel, but they're totally different style.
Yeah.
And then I also wanted to go through, because I just realized I forgot about this, how to interpret your generated traits. So I'm going to kind of talk about that while doing the like little thumbnail demo, which I will do like right in a sec. So here's more of Aaron Cobb's stuff. I really like these like textures that he used. They're really interesting. Oh, and here's a good example of like thumbnails to like more refined sketches to finished. And that's exactly how we're doing it in Party Banter, and he even has his inspiration right up here, which is also what we're going to be turning in.
Yeah, this is really just a really awesome example of a character sheet, right? Our final deliverable that we want for our last critique is just like we want to see your whole process, your thoughts, like try and represent your entire thought process in a page, and then show us the final painting.
Yeah.
So like the designs and then the different levels of the designs, and do a little like a couple call outs, couple inspiration pieces, just like show us how you think, because how you think is what is going to get you hired.
Yeah.
Not like it is about the work, but it's not as much about the work as it is the thought process that you represent in your work.
It's kind of like a I see it as like one of those like turn it in things, like an anti-plagiarism thing, because it's like you could have turned in a really amazing essay, but if we find out that that essay was just lifted from someone else, then it doesn't really count as much. So like showing your process is like proof, like I did this is me.
So Itzy Ghost is asking about
I was just about to answer that. So like my cool Avery says do it whenever you want. Do like it's your art. Do what you want. Whatever works the best for you. Formal college student Avery, who is the Party Banter DM, says, "Don't think about it right now." Colors kind of like are secondary, tertiary, quaternary
Yeah.
in your design. Like the main things you want to focus on right now is the silhouettes and shapes, because those are what you're gonna first see when you see a character, and those are really what's gonna inform the character's like character, their personality, who they are, what they do. The colors are kind of more flexible, and you can think about them later. So I would wait till like crit 2 or 3, probably crit 3, before you even start thinking about colors.
I would include some in crit too. What we like to do is take your black and white kind of sketches and paint over them in a color layer, and do a whole bunch of those, like 6 or 7 times. Just block out flat colors in a color layer, and it'll let you figure out kind of what colors you're going for. Actually, I've got a good example of this that I can just show you guys.
And for me, like I say, I disagree with Jack there. Like I say you could do that if you wanted to. I would first focus on values though. So like do it in black and white and grays, before you start introducing colors.
The second year at school have just learned this, and the first years are about to learn this. Color is literally the least important thing in making your painting look realistic.
It's the part that makes it look pretty and cool. But
yeah, but real and like
authentic,
well-rendered,
cool,
not
good
quite
design.
Let me just grab my color ideations from my character design that I just did like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and with that, I will close these and close out some of these, so hopefully my computer will stop hating me as much. This is also my life while I'm designing a character. It's like millions and millions and millions and millions of tabs just open of like things that I think are cool, things that I might want to reference later, articles. Like, inspiration can include non-picture resources. Articles and videos and books, and I know reading sucks, but books are a really good resource. Even art books, like I like looking, like I have so many art books. I like looking at books of other people's art. Yeah. There's so many in the Shim library. There's a lot when like we do the Shim library book sale that you can just like pick up and take. Or even the Friends of the Library bookstore has some art books if you are looking for just like cheap art books. So here's Jack's color ideations. And again, this is for later in the process. We're not going to be worried about this now.
Worry about that after the first crit.
Yeah.
And you can always color some stuff when you're doing that like brain dump phase where you're just sketching whatever you feel like. But probably don't include any color in this first crit.
Yeah.
If you really want to, just make sure it's really good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Owen and Jeff are gonna kill you.
Yeah, they'll murder you to death.
Yeah.
And I can't do anything about it, so that's on you. So what I'm gonna do real quick to do like a quick little demo, maybe not super quick, because I can't guarantee how fast I can draw. I haven't drawn on Photoshop in a while. But I'm going to pull up the Party Banter generator and generate a character. And then I can talk about like my process, the way that you would do thumbnails, and how to interpret the things that you get. So let's take the snippet tool. Snippet. God, I get so like embarrassed whenever I'm sharing my screen because it's like, oh, now you guys get to see how I use my computer like a heathen.
Oh, Jin can come in now.
Oh, come on in, Jin.
Do it.
Me. Okay, so
Hello?
Hello.
Who's that?
Hello?
Hi. Hello.
Avery's doing a
Hello?
demo.
Hello?
Whoa.
Who did you roll?
So,
An
I-
androgynous drow warlock.
Their profession is a farmer. They value patience but indulge in lust. They don't talk much and they're gentle. Oh my gosh, I like actually love them.
I might draw them. Just like a little bit of doodle.
Yeah, okay, so the first thing I would do is, I have no idea what a drow is, so I'm gonna Google that. Drow D&D.
Drow's like a dark elf.
So I see there's like some dude with a whip. That's not what I want to draw. They do look just like dark elves. Yeah. Elves. I see some people like putting like insect parts onto their drows, which seems fun.
Yeah.
And then aside from just looking at their pictures, oh no, I'm gonna do the forbidden thing of reading. I'm going onto the D&D page and looking at
reading.
And
Are you reading the Forbidden Fruit?
I'm reading the Forbidden Fruit. So they're elves that live in the Underdark. Ew, I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna click on that. Blah, blah. Their bodies are were wiry and athletic, and their faces are chiseled and attractive. They're shorter than elves.
They're kind of like vampire elves because they live in the dark.
Yeah, their skin is gray, jet black, or obsidian. I don't know the difference between jet black and obsidian.
Jet black is jet black and obsidian is
Obsidian is kind of purpley, maybe?
Of course.
No, it's
Yeah.
no. Wait, think about Minecraft.
Yeah, that's what Minecraft tells me.
Based on context clues, I'm gonna assume they mean like black with blue-ish. Their hair is
You mean
long.
indigo?
Pins, metals. That's fun. Hair can be white, pale yellow, or silver or copper. They are incapable of having beards. Eyes can be any color. Mouths. This like goes all in depth. I don't need to know this much. But yeah, just like look at like official D&D site is a good place to kind of start, and then start looking at other people's like interpretations. So maybe like a different, because there's other role-playing games other than D&D. I know that some people would like, yeah, it's crazy, but there is a lot of other role-playing games. Some of them, I dare say, are better than Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition.
Call of Cthulhu was real fun.
So I know, so far I know that I am designing a dark elf. So that makes me try to think like, okay, so they're a witch or a warlock and they're a farmer. So how can I combine those? Or like, so the drow live in the dark. So what would they farm?
What can you farm in the dark?
What can you farm in the dark? Maybe mushrooms?
Animals.
Maybe they're a rancher. They farm animals, like little bugs. Bugs are fun.
They like spiders.
Spiders, of course.
They can also farm kobolds.
Farming people. That's not weird.
It's like farming slaves, I guess.
That's terrible. So
farming and slaves.
Whoever said this person was good, wait, what alignment are they? It doesn't say. This could be an evil line.
They're gentle, okay?
They're gently, evilly aligned.
So yeah, reading more about the Underdark where they live, there's fungi. Wow, who'd have guessed? So maybe I'll do like a mushroom farmer. So that's what I would do first, is just like real quick
farm drugs.
Think about what these things mean. Even if you think you know what it means, Google it. You might find some interesting other definitions. So I'm gonna Google the word gentle. Meaning. Because to me it means someone who's like nice and soft and like probably a pacifist. But let's see if the dictionary has other definitions. So it's a tender temperament, so that's kind of what I was thinking. We've got moderate in action, not harsh or severe, so that is like kind of a more general idea of gentle. A noble person, ooh, having the qualities attributed to noble birth, courteous and chivalrous. That's an interesting idea.
Maybe they're a dark noble of the Underdark, you know?
Oh, here's another, here's another fun, again, fun definition of gentle that I wouldn't have thought of unless I looked it up. It is a maggot, especially the larva of a blowfly, used as bait. Huh. Cool.
Fascinating.
That can lead me, so I don't necessarily have to make her or them a maggot, but that can like lead to some interesting like ideas. Maybe that leads me to think, they farm maggots.
Association.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maggot farmer sounds like just a wonderful question.
So
maybe like the maggots are being traded for like to bait larger things in the Underdark, like spiders, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like
They're
part of pest control. I don't know.
Maybe you've got Drow Luke Skywalker who's sick of living on their maggot farm and wants to escape their underground maggot farm lit by mushrooms. See, that sounds just awful.
Yeah, it's lit. It's pretty lit with the mushrooms, you know?
So-
Lit by mushrooms.
So let's, gosh, I have so many. Who gave me this many brushes? I don't need this many brushes.
You
Okay,
just need the hard round.
yeah, you're right. So let's kind of draw what I was thinking from the beginning. So, this is really terrible, and I'm like apologizing ahead of time. So they are a drow. So they have like red eyes because this is anime.
Are you drawing a vampire now?
Yeah, they have
Okay.
long ears. They're a farmer. Oop. They're a farmer, so I'm gonna give them like a little farming outfit. Just a simple shirt. Let's give them like a what's it called? What are those things called? A shepherd's hook. Because they farm maggots now.
Yeah, maggot crook.
And let's give them just pants, just like plain pants. Because who cares? And I'm gonna make them barefoot because I can.
Mm-hmm. If you really like drawing feet but you can't draw shoes, just make them barefoot.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
easy
just show off
peasy.
the raw feet, you know, in all their glory.
That's why Sigma Overwatch doesn't have feet, because the artist didn't know how to draw shoes. Or doesn't have feet, only has feet, because the artist doesn't know how to draw shoes. This is real Overwatch
I
facts
know how
with
to draw
Avery.
shoes.
I
I'm
love drawing
convinced that
shoes.
no one knows how to draw shoes.
So, I'm a strange artist in that I know how to draw shoes and I know how to draw horses.
Are you Dave Gusslin?
So basically, I don't exist.
Yeah.
Alright, so there's my first impressions of that character, and like I said, I'm gonna just leave that to the side, and I'll think about them later. Maybe this
The
is...
stream has been cutting in and out for me a lot. Does anyone else have this?
Oh, it's cutting out for me too.
Yeah, anyone in chat want to say, like, hey, the stream's cutting in and out?
Eep, eep, eep.
I'm not seeing anything.
Close out some things. Yeah, it looks like it's cutting out.
Well, we can still do some demos, and then if nothing else, then
Can we screen share and just?
I think that would kill my computer.
Yeah, but I think that would kill internet connection more
Yeah.
than anything else.
Because I'm kind of in a weird position where I'm in between like 3 mirrors, and mirrors don't like Wi-Fi. Fun fact.
Like maybe not for this tip stream, but I'd be available to do like not stream, what's it? Yeah, to share my screen on like Discord. They have that, right?
They've got screen share on Discord.
Yeah,
it
and if
doesn't
someone
work
just wants to
super
put
well.
my screen on like the stream, I can do
The
that.
few times that I've used it, or I've used it with someone else, their screen has like flickered black, which is
Really?
yeah.
I used it with
Not
some
only
other
is it
friends, and I've
frustrating,
been fine.
not only is it vaguely frustrating, but it is seizure-inducing. So
Okay, well we can test that because when I've used it with my friends, it's been completely fine.
Yeah. And
Maybe
that's,
you were just on a really high resolution or something. I don't
that's what we're here for.
I'm gonna
That's,
post an announcement just in case for everyone. Everyone. Let's see. If the stream has been cutting out for you. Let me say, when do you think the VOD will be on YouTube? Like tomorrow? I'm gonna say
I don't
tomorrow.
know. We'll try
I'm gonna say-
tomorrow.
I'm gonna say tomorrow just to give you some wiggle room so you don't have to do it tonight.
Yeah. I'm tired. I have a final tomorrow. I have
I
2
thought-
finals tomorrow.
Ew.
Oof.
I heard Twitch wanted you to wait before you like uploaded it to anywhere else.
So if this is currently showing to people, then I will say it. If not, I am recording on OBS, I believe. Yes, I am. So that's our kind of backup. But like Jack was saying, I took a fat brush. This is my big rectangle blocker. It's just like a rectangle that I made into a brush. So I made a fat rectangle brush that I like to use for things like this, and I just kind of like went for it. I made like a big shape. I made some like little things that could be legs. Maybe it could be something else. But yeah, so I did that. So let's kind of knock this into a character. So I see this, and it could be 2 legs, but I like the idea of these being both of their legs, and then this being like a staff. Because that sounds fun. And I can play with the shape of that staff too.
Yeah.
Like maybe put some more in there to... It's like that. And then what we were talking about earlier with big, medium, small, this is kind of where I'm going to start talking about that. Pretty much the idea is that your character design should have big shapes, medium shapes, and small shapes. It's that easy.
Did
And
you
they
pick
should be
Inga? It's like the
they should be
popular
distinct from
Mama
one
Bear
another.
Oh, both of you said that at the same time. What?
Sorry. Jinko.
thing. So you go first.
Okay. Well, the shapes, they should be distinct from each other. They should like come out of the form, and
Yes.
they should like be easily identifiable as separate shapes.
Yeah.
So that you can really tell, like, oh, they separated those shapes out. They wanted to be interesting. You can see a lot of the designs we just posted are going to have like really tiny shapes that stick out of the character and really big shapes that stick out of the character.
Yeah. And I'm probably going to do another tip stream where I can probably prepare a little better than this one. Where I can like draw over some character designs. I have so many art books that I can just scan in and draw over for you guys. Just kind of show you what I mean by big, medium, and small. And I'm sure Owen and Jeff will talk about it too.
Yeah.
So kind of what I'm doing is kind of like knocking into this character. So we've got some small shapes over here. We've got this big shape, which I'm gonna say is like their cloak or dress or something. And then I'm gonna make this medium shape into their head. So let's give them little ears and a big hat. Because I like the idea of them having like a big farmer's hat. And then I've got even more small shapes kind of like floating off of them. And I can just decide what those shapes are going to be later. And make this a little more obviously like a stick rather than a foot. And let's bring this stick back up over here. And I still like that like shepherd's crook thing, so let's do a little thing like that. And I can make it look better later. So that...
Yeah, this, like, these are all just sketches. They don't have to look good.
Yeah, so there's one, and that took like a couple minutes. It also kind of inflated the time that I'm trying to deal with tech problems right now. So let's do another one. So let's get like a really big brush and just kind of like Ta-da! And this is like,
I'm sure I'll see it in a moment and be impressed.
it's just a scribble. So this is also like, I find it a lot easier to do on paper. But it's also kind of fun to do on the computer because, like, with the computer you can cut into shapes. On the physical, you can't really cut into shapes. So your kind of process for thinking is going to be a little different.
If you want to get interesting on digital, you can approximate what this thing's going to be. Close your eyes and then do it, and you'll get some interesting shapes that you have to work with.
Or even if you want to be like fancy about it, you can draw your shapes traditionally, pull them into your computer, and then there they are. You did it. You solved the problem.
Cam scanner is super easy.
Cam scanner, even
airdrop pictures.
Not all of us are Mac people, Jin.
I'm going to sorry, my son. Excuse me.
I'm not okay with the existence of.
You're not daijoubu about it.
I'm not daijoubu.
Mm.
Sumimasen, I guess. Gomen.
But yeah, you totally, Jen, you totally messed up my thought process.
Okay, your thinking time is presuming now.
Google Drive also has a cam scanner-like function.
It does?
Yeah, if you have the Google Drive app.
Oh.
I do have the Google Drive app. I'm gonna have to look into that because Cam Scanner, as it is, has ads, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah, Google Drive does not. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
So
Google gets enough of my money already.
Google is a big corporation that doesn't need your money because it has you and your information.
Yeah, Google's got my whole digital being.
You're practically giving them your money, or giving them money by just letting them sell your information. Anyway, Google's gonna come after me in just a bit, so I'm gonna wrap this up before the police get here.
Why your internet keeps cutting out? Because they know you're talking shit.
Obviously.
Say that.
So I still like the idea of them having a little hat, but I'm also like thinking now, like, why would they have
anime hair?
If they had anime hair?
Yeah, because like you don't need hats in the Underdark.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Like
the sun, haha.
Maybe a. Why don't I have pen pressure for this? I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna like pee and cry.
Shed your tears. Shed your tears through your ass. That's peeing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes.
Think about it.
But yeah, so as I'm drawing this, I'm thinking, there's no sun in the Underdark, so why would they need a hat? So maybe this is just weird hair. Maybe this is something that I'll think about later.
You know, like how beekeepers have that hat. Maybe like they have a hat like that so the maggots don't get in. You know.
The maggots don't. You don't want the maggots on your skin. They bite.
Maggot hat.
Yeah.
Think about like the functionality of the character. I think that's something Owen says a lot, especially with like armor and shit like that. And if something can have a reason, like you can't, like pouches and leg wraps are things that are just kind of like there on character designs. I am faulty of this.
Guys, do not wrap random gauze around your character's legs.
I'm sorry, Jack.
Although, of course, unless you know why it's there. Like boxers have hand wraps
specific reason
to protect their knuckles, but it's not just gauze. It's not just random like white gauze wrapped around their hand. It's a reason. There's a way that it works, and you can Google that for free.
Yeah. If you roll, like I think there's a character that rolled like they have a disability. If you want to give your character a limp, like put a splint on one of their legs. Like give him give him like physical representation of what what details they have. And those are the details that you add. All the details you should add have some kind of story behind them and aren't just there to be there.
Like you can make a detail and then attach a story point to it. Like, the detail can come first if it looks cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like make sure that it has a reason.
And that's kind of like what I'm doing here, where like I'm knocking out these shapes, and I don't even know what they are yet. But I'm still kind of thinking about like what could they be, why would they be there, and what can I do as I start to flesh out this character a little more,
Right.
to make it make sense. And why is that just me, or is this stream just dead?
Oh, yeah,
I think
stream
the
is just
stream. I
dead.
think the stream might be dead. Yeah, like where the screen for me has not changed since you made your first silhouette.
Yep.
So.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and
we're hemorrhaging viewers too. Guys, the VOD will be up soon.
Yep.
Anyone who can hear me, you can watch the rest of it very soon because Avery's been recording on OBS.
Yeah, and yeah, I just wanted to say again, that's why I had this stream. That's why in Twitch it says Chip Stream 0. This is my technical difficulty stream, because as is the law with the universe, as you will find out always, the first time you use something, everything will go wrong. So test it out first.
Been technical.
Yeah. I even had technical difficulties with Discord, which I have been using constantly, like, for the past few days, and so there shouldn't have been any issues, but there was. But yeah, so wrapping this up, you can see I have two very different designs right here, that I can flesh out later, and that I can continue knocking out little thumbnails. I can shrink these down and then continue working with thumbnails on the same sheet so I can see all of them. So I'm making sure that I'm not too like not reiterating the same designs over and over and over again. But yeah, and that's all I have to say about that. If you have any questions, ask. Don't be afraid. I am not going to hurt you. I am not going to kill you, and more information about dates and times and streams will come.
We've got so much on the questions channel, or questions already on the Discord. So if we've got anyone curious about anything else, feel free to ask.
Yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we got this Discord. If I didn't want to talk to you guys, then I would not be on Discord. Let me just say that.
Yeah. Yes, we like talking about art. It's fun.
Alright, well, with that, I'm going to stop streaming and